reflecting on where both of you are, which is, you guys are both managing teams, sitting with budgets and driving certain initiatives. How do you bring into your ecosystem these cultural things, like you spoke about freedom, independence, learning, unlearn, relearn, innovation? These are attributes and things that what makes Globsyn. These are things which we have inherited as a ecosystem from BDG. It was really his vision and idea, the way he created. Now that it percolates down to your departments, and when you look at hiring in your department, when you look at innovation, and when you look at freedom, like how do you sort of implement those in your respective departments? So I think, Pintu, why don't you reflect on that, and then I'll come to you also for the same question.
First of all, I like to touch on what Shabbir has said and on the pandemic times and kind of. So one thing they like to add on, the industry we are in, as we're into education, and there is pandemic going on in the market, the only thing Globsyn can do to help students to continue education. At that point of time, the society at large who are into looking for a PG courses, what we came into as a product which we have and want to reach out through maybe on online or other platform, but the objective was to give something that can build them to sustain when the pandemic is over. So that is something that we had and we have. And still, I remember the students who joined that point of time, they're working today. And they're working today and sustaining their families and earning money to their families, because that day they believed on us and they do their MBA program with us, and now they're working. And they're having their families hopefully doing well. So that's something that Globsyn has a strong point at the plus point.
And we were very agile and responsive. I remember that time that we had to really pivot the entire company to be online. And there were many people who didn't know how to use online technology to teach. So, and I think that's,
and we have enough faith on our product. The kind of curriculum we have, kind of faculty, they come up online, but we know their quality of teaching. We know the curriculum that they build is phenomenal. So whenever pandemic is over, they will go to the market and work. And some join online, they join industry online, and they're working. So that is something that I want to add on. Globsyn was very strong on that point of time, and that did well for the society at large, that point of time. And they will still always remember Globsyn, what we did. So that that part. Coming to the learning to my team, I do the same thing. First of all, I also don't want to micromanage them. In my team, we have hired are mature enough. We have not normal hire intern kind of profile. On an average of my team is around 5 to 6 years of experience they have. Somebody has 10 plus, somebody 5 years. So because of that, I take from there. I don't start to consider them as an intern and start saying, do this, go left, go right. That's not my approach at all. So I give them proper training. I give them what needs to be done, what kind of challenges they might face, and what should be the solutions. And then I leave up to them. Whenever I feel they're not doing well, they are not on the track, there's something they're missing out, I intervene. Till that, I don't intervene. I have a mechanism of taking reports every week and quarterly and monthly, all sort of. Whenever I feel somebody is not working well, I get into there. And I again start giving them training, understand what they're going wrong. It's the family side, personal side, or the market side. Whichever wrong or something they're not able to crack, that's my job to give them the solution to crack. And that's the way I have dealing my team. And the second part I do is that I give enough time to perform. I don't fall in the head that if they join today, for example, I don't expect they'll perform in the next 6 months. I take into consideration they will be able to perform probably after 6 months. These 6 months, I will keep them with whatever content they need to in all aspect of the product or services or as a brand, so that they perform. I don't expect from day one they will perform. I don't want to also, because if they push themselves, they will fail, miscommunicate in the market, which is not our culture in Globsyn. We must talk about in the market what we are. Don't over pitching. It happens when you give pressure to the team, which I avoid to push them, because if we push them or more pressure to give to them, they will talk wrong things in the market, which I never allow. So that is so far my team is working in that area. Do well. Whenever you start, come to me or I'll teach you. Don't worry. I have reverse formula to get you there if you don't come to me. And so that's is going on so far. Is that
excellent. In fact, I actually feel there are times, and you rightly said, because you used the word matured people, and I think that exists in every department in Globsyn. People who have worked with us for years, In fact, I find myself actually going back to heads of department all the time and said, why are you not spending your budget? Take your team out for a meal. Why are you not going out and engaging with people? Why are you not getting them to, have fun? And that's a discussion I have with all of them. Whether they do it or not is not my responsibility. But I can tell you as a stakeholder, I'm always telling them to do that. And I think that freedom to actually give a manager or a leader the ability to groom their team up itself is something that many organizations don't give. To build leaders within your organization. I mean, there could be somebody within your team who tomorrow emerges as a good leader and comes and takes on another area and starts working. And I think it requires both financial freedom as well as your ability to pick and choose the person that you want to work with. Shabbir, coming to you, like if you the same question in a different context, like when you look at your team and you have also a big team and very diverse, and you have people new and people old, how do you look at them in terms of what you've learned in Globsyn as a culture?
So my first answer, I get to learn a lot. So when I look at my team, I try and bring in people who are ready to learn.
Yeah.
Because Globsyn, we manage our own creatives, own marketing, own videos. We don't go to an agency because we don't feel people can deliver to our expectations. That benchmark that is set by BDC sir, that has been set by you, the expectations that you all have, an agency cannot meet.
Yeah.
We might not be 100%, but we meet where your expectations are. So, or exceeded, that's what I feel we do. But that being said, if we bring in people who know everything, that will not work for us. We need people who are flexible enough to learn how we work, what our communication styles are, what Globsyn needs. Now, that is something is key. When I hire people, I always look at that flexibility to learn something new. And once they come in, they somehow mold themselves into what we need. People are there in my team currently who might have been brought in just to make graphic designs, but they are now communicating with different departments to get different elements to manage projects, do certain things more than what they are expected to, and that is what I always tell them. In Globsyn, you don't grow if you meet your expectation. You exceed it, and the company will always support you. You are always given that freedom to fail. And the company is there to support you. You have been there to always support me if I made a mistake. Yes, we do get a little bit of shouting at times, but that is where when I go back and reflect.
And I'm going to come to that question next.
Which you say that like you shout at the role, and next minute when I'm calling you and speaking to you, you're a different person altogether, and we are talking a different subject. So that freedom to actually not fear making a mistake is the goal. Is it that allows me peace of mind. I can actually sleep at night when I deliver my work. I know that next day I'll start afresh. I'll do something good the next day as well.
And so I'm going to take on the interesting question, which is me as a leader. And I think, and I've always been public about this, nothing hidden, but I've always been an extremely aggressive leader when it comes to work. But I do have the ability to move in and out, like you said. But I think I'm very, very work focused and very much to the point. And oftentimes people, even Suyesha earlier when she works, she just come and say like, you walk in and you walk out, you have a pace, you have an energy, you cut, get things done and move on. How have you both seen me as a leader? Because you both have worked for 10 odd years, right? So, and you even more.
Yes.
And both physically around you as well as virtually. So, Pintu, I'll start with you and then to you. Like, I want you to, and be honest about this. There's no this thing. I want you to talk about how have you seen me as a leader in the last decade or so.
So, before I answer this, I think any organization to grow, there must be team who complement each other. So my job is different, and which is of course yours. So what I have learned from you, which kind of skill on the strategic side as a vision, which I can't carry. I don't have those. So whenever I got ideas, I got instructions, I found those elements which I miss. Probably also that required to have, because my job is on numbers.
Yes.
My job is to get the revenue done, get the number done. That is the department we are at. But when I have met you, whenever I have discussion with you, whatever I want to learn from you, I got just opposite version of me. And there's different me and me, actually create the equations, right?
Yeah.
So it's not shouting. It's
The
not,
gaps
the
in
gaps.
terms of, yeah.
Because I got something that I was missing actually.
Yeah.
Practicing, I not spoken that way ever in public, but actually I got the clue, and that was I missing actually in my conversation with my team or my thought process,
Great.
which I got the clue
Yeah.
on the upper layer of the thought,
Yeah.
and then I had my strategic implementation of those things, which actually make the thing happen.
Yeah.
That's why. So as a leader, you are phenomenal so far, sir. And my 15 years with you, I got those elements which if I don't had, I'm not able to sustain.
Yeah.
Here even for 2 years,
Yeah.
for 15 years. So thank you, sir, for.
So I am assuming this is an honest answer.
It's an honest answer. I normally, as an honest person.
Yes,
not
I know.
In
you are,
general,
you are.
I don't talk wrong.
But
things.
you and I generally have not had that much
Not
of
that much
background
of,
because
yeah.
I think
I always learn from you, and so that
Shabbir has gotten it a lot more than you for sure,
Yeah,
and
sure.
very badly so.
Sure.
Okay, coming to you, Shabbir. The good part is you're still smiling, so
Yes.
that's good.
It's been wonderful. Like, to be very honest, when there are days you have shouted, I might say, why is he shouting? But when we put down the work, okay, this is what Sir said. Let's get it done. And actually, if there are days my team is actually standing and shooting, they would be like, "Arey, eta to amra eram bhabi nahi." We haven't thought of it in this angle, and Sir thought of it. Like that gap which Pintu is trying to say.
Yeah.
There are these exposures that you have, which we are obviously limited. We are day in, day out working. So when we get that from you, those are actually at that moment we were like, why is he telling us this? This is what we have done. But which you always say, you will never shout at us if we are doing our best. We are not working to our potential is when you react.
Yeah.
And react on the position, not the person. That's the best part about it. Because when I've had conversation with otherwise, you are not talking like that.
Yeah.
So when we react, when you react, we come back, we do that. We're like, that is where our fault was.
Yeah.
We haven't thought of it this way. We could have done it. Now that realization allows us to, again, that learning that we are getting, next time we'll not try and do that.
Yeah.
But yes, we do make those mistakes again and again. But that learning is huge. And that freedom, like again I said, it's the freedom to make mistakes is immense. We make the mistake, we can, obviously it shouldn't be public. We don't want to ensure, we don't want to see the Globsyn name going down because that's a brand that we all love.
Yeah.
But when we are in the draft stage, trying to excel is what is key, and we can keep on polishing and seeing the best in ourselves out.
Yeah.
So the only thing, sir, I also like to talk that, people on the other side, there are high chances to be misunderstood. So we, on the other side of the table, we actually understood what you were trying to say. But I'm sure in other, there are so many employees working in Globsyn, and whoever exposed to you on that angle, not everybody has understood properly. And there is a gap can create, who can understand you properly, and that probably require a lot of time to work with you, which we got.
And also proximity and engagement.
Yes.
Yeah.
So who have not understood that point of time, they might misunderstood you and entirely. He not got the line what you were trying to say, and they interpret themselves differently, which is wrong, and they take them to wrong path. But who have understood you, who at least, as Sabi said, who can sit and reflect. What is the point that Sir has wanted to talk?
Yeah.
And if they do that bit, then they will understand.
And I think, Pintu, to your point, I think that is the biggest challenge any organization has from a leadership perspective. Like, how do you actually keep bridging the gap as you go down the line? And I think one of the points I remember also with Shabbir, particularly, there was a time you and I were having a heated conversation, and I was like, "Why the hell did you do this?" or something like that in that context. I'm saying it very calmly now, but I was not calm. And I remember him telling me that, "No, sir, I would not do this. When it comes to you and BDG, I cannot do this." And I kind of feel like in my style of leadership, I have also taken a back step when I've understood that maybe I didn't get it. And I think a lot of people in the organization like T and Raju and earlier Mansi used to work with us, they used to always come and say, "No, Rahul, I think this part of it, super aggressive, you got to calm down a little bit," or this part. So I think as an organization, it's always healthy that even that the feedback should come both ways. The fact that we are sitting and even discussing about myself here in a platform which probably will go public, tells you that that organization and the culture is about competence, is about performance, is about goal, and all that culminates to the story of Globsyn and nothing beyond that. I think that's the culture we have built. That's the culture we have seen actually BDG build. Because I think for an organization like us to even sustain ourselves every year and compete and be different You need the fire. You need the aggression. You need that pace and speed. Otherwise, you can't.
Yes.
It's not possible for you to be a leader in the market.
Absolutely.
There's
And
one
then-
point, so which everyone keeps asking me. 11 years you have stayed in Globsyn.
Yeah.
Why? What is the
It doesn't
reason?
matter what.
What is happening? You should leave. But there are certain things you'll not get anywhere else, which what we discussed
Correct.
today.
Yeah.
Now, these are the little elements which it's like it's coming back home. It's not. I don't go back home and I come to work.
Yeah.
I am. It's part of my life. That is something that people who have misunderstood Globsyn, have misunderstood these gaps that happen. They don't understand the value. It's like, I was having a conversation with someone last week. I said, tell me one other company where you get these things. There isn't. There is, like, if someone tries, also they'll not be able to find an organization which allows the freedom, has transparency, like which we started with. There is no way I can go and tell you something about Pintu sir and you will not call him up immediately and say, what is this right or wrong? That culture is not there in Globsyn. People don't understand. People think there is some Pintu sir is talking about me, I am talking about Shaolin. We don't do that. Any time I've had discussions with you is about work and which starts and ends with it.
Right.
Or if I'm having a personal discussion, that starts and ends with that.
Right.
There are no names which are brought up beyond the people who are on the table.
Yeah.
Now that culture is not there in India, leave alone Kolkata.
Right.
Any output, I think is like a combination lock. If it is a 3-number digit, you have to match 3.
Yes.
Is a culture, is you as a character, as a person, as company, the leadership. If all of them not combined together as per it should be, it not open.
Yeah.
So the output will not come.
Yes.
So it has to be the combination of all those elements should have. It is so 10 years, 15 years doesn't matter unless it is combination is right.
Perfect. And I think it's like a beautiful home or a drawing room.
Yes.
Is not beautiful just because of the furniture, but because of the way the furnitures are organized and how they work together.
Yes.
And I think that's a great analogy. And I think what we'll do is we'll try and taper it down a little bit. But I think both of you have touched upon some very, very interesting point. In fact, to your point about when people have asked you for why are you still here after 11 years, I remember Pintu and I pretty much every year have a discussion on all the offers he gets in the market, and some of them are very lucrative offers, and we laugh about it. The fact that we can even do that as an organization, is something of pride, because I'm assuming as an employer that there must be something that he is valuing which is beyond that. And I think if we can build that across, and I'm sure in your team as well there are people like that. And I always say this, that all of us have an option to go and work somewhere else. But knowing that we do, if we still work in this organization and we try to build something, that's the special part of the Globsyn culture. Because we know we have an option, but we still choose to build something that we believe in.
Yes.
And I think that is what differentiates Globsyn from any other school in this ecosystem.